What are we likely to see today, would you think, when the markets open again? We saw them reacting a little bit on Friday.
Indeed, Dan, the Rand was seen reacting on Friday, in particular reacting then to a statement issued by the Ministry of Finance, I suppose on behalf of the Finance Minister, where he revealed that indeed tensions do exist between himself and the Commissioner of SARS, Tom Moyane, and of course also revealing that he has been sent a list of questions, 27 questions to be exact, by the elite crime fighting unit in the country, that is the Hawks, and it regards to, or should we say it relates to the so-called rogue spy unit that existed at SARS during the time of Pravin Gordhan as the commissioner there. And of course the president was also issuing a statement on the very same Friday, Dan, stating that he is firmly behind the finance minister. In fact, the entire cabinet is behind the finance minister. However, the president not willing though to go as far as to say he is going to interfere with what is now seen as some kind of an investigation that is being conducted by the Hawks. The president not wanting to be drawn on that, stating that this is being handled by the law enforcement agencies. And so, of course, indeed, as you mentioned, the Rand took a tumble then on Friday on the issuing of these two statements, falling nearly 4%. And then I need not remind you what happened in December when the finance ministers were changed. The Rand lost something to the tune, well, close to about 10%. That is the value that the Rand lost to the US dollar. And of course, not mentioning the stocks here, losing tens of billions of Rand as a result of that particular announcement by the president that he was removing the then finance minister Nhlanhla Nene and replacing him with Des van Rooyen. And then, of course, Des van Rooyen not spending too much time as he was subsequently replaced by Pravin Gordhan.
Now, Xoli, of course, we know how the markets hate uncertainty, and the whole issue around the investigation or not by the Hawks, or the questions that are being asked of the finance minister, won't really be boding well, because the markets want to know for sure that he's the man who's in charge, because we saw how positively they responded to his appointment in December. And of course, there's that small matter on the side of our status in terms of credit rating, because we're just a notch above junk status at the moment.
That's the biggest worry, Dan. The credit ratings agencies rating, or should we say revising the country's credit rating to junk status. That is the biggest worry for everybody. And I suspect, therefore, it may have been the reason that precipitated the statement from the Secretary General of the ANC on Friday, stating that the ANC is fully behind the finance minister, and that they view the so-called investigation against him as somewhat suspicious because of its timing, that the investigation was, is said to have commenced, or the questions, the list of questions that Pravin Gordhan would have received. Of course, then, also important here is the fact that you speak about investors and the uncertainty that a climate such as this one that we currently face as a country may likely do to the country's economy. We know that the investors are worried, very worried about what is happening. They've supported thus far the minister's budget speech, although it does not specifically spell out a growth plan, but nonetheless they've accepted what appears to have been an austerity budget, Dan. But what's important is that there shouldn't be any uncertainty around the finance minister, and so that, I suspect, the investors, or the talk is that investors are going to watch that very closely, because what is important for them is for the country to be on a stable footing in as far as the management of the fiscus is concerned. And so we watch as what will happen when 9 o'clock hits and the JSE starts trading.